Hey, what's up? John Sanmez here, and today we are going to be continuing this series on how to lose fat. You can check out the beginning of the series here, check out the playlist, and I think this is video like 10 or 11, and we're going to be talking about how to start a cardio program as part of how to lose fat. You want to go back to the beginning of the series if you haven't already. Watch all the videos, watch the basics of fat loss, the basics of diet, all of that information that I've talked about already. Just talked about fasting, intermittent fasting, and longer term fasting, so you don't want to miss that. But today I'm going to be talking about how to start a cardio program. Before I do want to tell you also, make sure you click the subscribe button below and the little bell notification thing so that you don't miss any of the videos that come out in this series, because there's still more to come, and I'll probably add to this later if you have some comments and questions. Okay, so before we get into starting a cardio program, obviously I'm going to do a little bit of a rehash here and tell you that, I've already said that cardio is not the most effective way to lose fat. You know that. You're acknowledging that. You're like, John, but I still want to do cardio anyway. Good. It's good. It's good for your cardiovascular health. And it's good because it's going to help you to get past some sticking points when you do start to plateau in your fat loss and you want to accelerate that. And so having good conditioning is going to allow you to actually do enough cardio to actually be effective. Because if you don't do enough cardio, it's not really going to be effective. Like I said, I've been running like 40-50 miles a week, and that's a pretty good amount of cardio, but it's still not enough to overcome bad diet. But if you throw 40 or 50 miles a week on top of a good diet program, you can lose fat really fucking fast, okay? Really fucking fast, because it's going to accelerate things. Now, you don't have to run 40 or 50 miles a week. Even like 20 miles a week is going to be somewhat effective there. But again, you don't even have to run. So let's talk about kind of the basics here. So if you haven't done any cardio, if you're fairly fat, okay, right now, and you want to get started, the very first thing that I would recommend, and especially, if you're getting started out, if you want to accelerate things, I talked about this a little bit before, is just to get on the treadmill or go outside and start walking. It's good if you can do it on a treadmill, like if you can read, please read. Check out my playlist on reading, on books, book reviews for some good books to read, but books will help you. You could even listen to the audio version. Okay, when I run, I listen to audio, or when I go for a walk. But you can walk on a treadmill and put the incline up, which is sort of like a little hack because it burns a lot more calories. And you could do that for 2 or 3 hours a day if you're serious about this, and burn a pretty good amount of extra calories. So that's where I would start, but I would start at maybe 30-minute, an hour a day walking on the treadmill, just having that goal. It's really not a hard thing to do, to walk on a treadmill for an hour while you're doing something else. You could even be watching TV if you must, or read. And if you do that consistently every day, that's going to be a decent amount, right? Maybe it might be an extra 200 or 300 calories a day. Okay, that will add up over time, and it's very little effort. That's why it's a good idea to do something like that. Okay, so that's kind of the basic. That's where I would start, and I wouldn't start upping the cardio until later in the diet when you start to plateau. And the reason for this, and in fact, a lot of the people I coach, I don't even have them do anything, is because I want to have something that we can pull out later when you get stuck. Because inevitably, you will get stuck in your fat loss, especially if you're trying to get ripped, okay? Now, if you're way overweight, if you're like 60 pounds overweight, okay, or 100 pounds overweight, or 200 pounds overweight, and you're trying to drop that and get to, like for guys, maybe a 15% body fat, or for women, maybe like a 20 or 25, let's say 22% body fat. That's probably about like normal ranges, like where you're going to look good, but not look fat. Easy to do, right? You're going to be able to do that, no problem. You won't have to add any cardio, just diet. It's going to be simple. When you start to drop down, for guys trying to drop down below the 15%, getting below 13, below 10%, cardio is going to be a must. It's actually going to change. But I'm not going to get into the details of that right now, simply because for most of you, it's not going to apply. If you are at that stage, then we're going to have to start adding cardio, and we want to be able to increment that up. That's another reason why you might want to start to consider running, because the thing is, it starts to become prohibitive, right? So if you're going to walk, all right, to walk like 40 or 50 miles, or let's say 30 miles a week, that's a lot of time, okay? That is a lot of time. That adds up. So if you can run and burn more calories and do it in a shorter period of time, that's somewhat beneficial, okay? So if you're going to do some cardio, if you're going to do some running, one thing I recommend is get on your iPhone or your Android Couch to 5K program. Just look up Couch to 5K. that's a good running program that will get you started, get you running 5K, which is 3.1 miles, which is a decent sized run. Okay, now I will tell you this, I ran 5Ks for a long time, like 3 times a week, and I never liked it and I never got better, and that's because it's just too short of a distance. You got to start to up that to like 5-6 miles runs, maybe some 10-mile runs on Sundays, longer runs, maybe sign up for some half marathons, okay, to get you motivated in order to actually really get into running. And once you can get to the point where you can run about 10 miles, you can pretty much run 15 or 20, like you'll be able to, hit those numbers. So, and that will be a significant amount of running, again, a significant amount of cardio. Other things you can do is you can do like stair stepper at the gym. I kind of don't like it that much because it's like, it feels like it's a lot of work and it's kind of boring. All right, I like to run outside, but a lot of people do stair stepper and it burns a lot of calories because you're using some big muscles to do that. You can of course do cycling. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of that, or rowing. Rowing is actually a really good workout, so you could do that. If there's a lot of things you could do. For another thing that you can do is you can do recreational type of things. This is something that can actually get you doing a lot of cardio without even noticing it. I remember when I used to play, I used to play the Dance Revolution game, and I had this I bought actually the real wood board, and when I first got a new version of that game, I played for 5-6 hours at a time, just every day, and just burning so many calories, just doing cardio the whole time and just having a blast. So there was a period of time where I played basketball every day at lunch, played for basketball for 2 hours. Again, full court basketball, you're burning a lot of calories, you're having fun. Right now I do Muay Thai, kickboxing, and that's a lot of fun as well, but it's also a lot of pain. But it's something that gives me some extra cardio as well. Some other ideas, as far as cardio is, which we'll talk about in the next video. I'm going to talk about HIIT versus steady state cardio. But in general, starting a cardio program, you work up the conditioning, and you just start increasing, right? So if you want to start running and you want to start running more, Couch to 5K is a really good program. But essentially, the idea is that you're going to run, and you're going to gradually increase those miles, and you need to have one kind of longer day where you run extra miles. So, if you look at most running programs, you'll see it's maybe 2 miles, 2 miles, 3 miles, 5 miles. And then the next week it might be 3 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, 6 miles, or something like that, right? So you're progressively having days where you're going to run one long run is where you're going to build that endurance. But yeah, that's the basics of starting a cardio program. You want to do enough to keep the conditioning so that you can keep going. That's the key thing here. So if you're going to run, if you're going to do some kind of cardio program, you can't just do it once a week or twice a week. You should try to do a longer cardio session, running 3-4 times a week. 4 times a week is probably optimal for keeping the conditioning, and perhaps a little bit more, and maybe doing some walking or some light cardio on some of the other days. All right, so that's all I have for you for this video. And make sure that you subscribe, and make sure you check out the playlist. In the next video, we're going to be talking about HIIT, which is high intensity training, or interval training, basically, versus steady state cardio. And I'm going to talk about some of the differences in there, and which is more effective, right? So make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the bell so you don't miss any videos in the series. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.